down
I've been
doors.
asking them for the warrant since they got
They're
here.
working.
You need to stop kidnapping people at the street. Show me your arrest warrant then. Stop. You guys are kidnapping people at the street.
Every time ICE shows up to make an arrest, there's always someone in the crowd screaming, "Where's your warrant?" or "Show me your warrant." They often don't even know the suspect. They weren't called by the family, they're not law enforcement, but suddenly they're a constitutional expert. In civil immigration enforcement, ICE doesn't and legally can't use a judicial warrant. They never do. So when a woke Karen demands a judicial signature, they're demanding something that doesn't even exist under US immigration law. You've seen the viral clips. An ICE officer is making a lawful arrest. A bystander yells, "Show me your warrant." Sometimes it's a Karen, sometimes it's an activist, sometimes it's the wife. What they don't realize is that demanding a judge-signed warrant is a misunderstanding of how immigration enforcement actually works. This video isn't about excusing abuse or sidestepping accountability. It's about the truth. When people shout "warrant," they're often demanding something the law itself never provides in this context. The reason ICE doesn't need a judge's warrant is simple. Immigration law is civil, not criminal. The core legal authority for ICE's power to arrest without a judicial warrant comes from INA 287A USC 1357, which authorizes powers without warrant in certain immigration-related arrests. In fact, ICE itself states that Section 287 of the Immigration and Nationality Act provides ICE officers the authority to arrest aliens without a judicial warrant. The statute states to arrest any alien if he has reason to believe that the alien so arrested is in the United States in violation of any law and is likely to escape before a warrant can be obtained.
Ruling finding ICE is conducting illegal arrests in violation of a consent decree that limits warrantless arrests in the Chicago area of responsibility.
The implementing regulation 8 CFR 2875 lays out how immigration officers may exercise that arrest power again without going to a judge first. ICE also uses administrative removal warrants signed by ICE officials, not judges, to effect arrests when someone already has a removal order. As one academic article puts it, these administrative warrants authorizing arrests for deportation proceedings are issued by DHS enforcement officers, not by neutral magistrates, raising a significant constitutional question. So the law Congress passed gives ICE the authority to arrest, but it does not require them to go through a judicial magistrate first. For civil immigration enforcement, judges are not gatekeepers in the arrest stage.
I got you.
Alright, so ICE can arrest without a judge's warrant, but on what basis? They don't just haul people off the streets randomly. Under INA 287A2 and 8 USC 1357, ICE may make a warrantless arrest of an alien if the officer has reason to believe that the person is in violation of immigration law and the person is likely to escape before a warrant could be obtained. ICE's internal policies clarify further. The officer must document the facts and circumstances justifying the decision to arrest without a warrant. Also, in removal warrant scenarios, the person already has had due process, which would be the immigration order in this instance. Then ICE uses a removal warrant to physically take them into custody. The policy documents emphasize that mere presence in the US is not sufficient. The totality of circumstances must point to a real risk of flight or inability to confirm identity. Once arrested, the regulation 8 CFR 287.3 requires that the arrested alien be examined by another immigration officer, or the same if necessary, to confirm status before further action. In short, ICE's warrantless arrests are governed by a statutory standard, internal policies, and regulation. They don't just launch a dragnet and hope for the best.
During the federal surge, the White House vowed to arrest all undocumented immigrants encountered by ICE agents.
Now, let's talk about the crowd scenes. You've got someone screaming, "Where's your warrant? Show me your warrant," even though the officer is acting lawfully under statute. What's happening is emotional theater. People see someone they perceive as a victim and reflexively invoke warrant as if that's a universal magic word. But the law doesn't support it in this context. Let's break down the dynamics at play. First, you have the misunderstanding of legal categories. Many assume every law enforcement action must pass through a judge first. That's true in criminal law under the Fourth Amendment warrant clause, but immigration enforcement falls in a different legal category: crowd psychology and moral posturing. Yelling warrant is a way to virtue signal you're defending rights, even if you don't understand them. And third, you have obstruction risk. When bystanders physically or verbally block officers, they risk interfering with law enforcement. That's not heroism, that's obstruction. In many viral clips, the bystanders or Karens have no connection to the suspect. They just show up on the street, demand paperwork, and harass the officers. But that doesn't convert civil law into criminal process. These confrontations go viral because they're dramatic. They make people think law enforcement can't just do that. But yes, under statutory immigration law, yes, they can. That said, ICE's authority is not unchecked. There are legal challenges, judicial scrutiny, and constitutional debates around administrative warrants and warrantless arrests. In Gonzalez versus ICE, a federal court held that ICE's practice of issuing detainers based purely on database hits violated the Fourth Amendment, and that ICE was exceeding its statutory authority. Some courts are scrutinizing how ICE defines flight risk and whether its standards for arrest are being misapplied. In recent news, a federal judge ruled that ICE's warrantless arrest in Illinois violated a consent decree. That signals rising judicial pushback if ICE doesn't carefully follow its own rules. Critics argue administrative arrest warrants issued by DHS agents, not neutral magistrates, undermine separation of powers and the Fourth Amendment's protections. But here's what's important for our audience. None of those rulings say ICE must always use a judge's warrant. The debates are about how ICE exercises its powers, when it oversteps, and what accountability mechanisms should be in place.
Lawsuit seeks to put an end to the warrantless immigration arrests in D.C. even after the expiration of the federal surge.
So why should anyone care about this technical legal distinction? Because it affects how we talk about enforcement, rights, and social order. First, we have the rule of law, not mob rule. If the public believes ICE must have a judge's warrant in every case, then every arrest becomes a flashpoint. That misbelief undermines the rule of law. Second, we have clarity on accountability. If you demand judicial warrants every time, you're demanding an impossible standard. Instead, push for adherence to statutory standards, internal audits, oversight, and transparency. Third, preventing misinformation. Viral clips of bystanders yelling "warrant" create a false impression that ICE is acting extrajudiciously. The truth is, Congress wrote the law. Fourth, guarding against overreach. Recognizing ICE's authority doesn't mean accepting abuse. It means demanding fidelity to the law, including documentation, limitation, and review. In practice, ICE focuses on individuals with prior orders of removal, criminal histories, or serious violations. These are not random strangers being dragged off. The statute, the regulation, and ICE policy all aim to weed out arbitrary enforcement.
I am not talking to you till the general manager gets here.
Stop resisting!
I'm not resisting! No, because I don't work for Domino's Pizza. I work for the Rockledge Police Department.
So the next time you see a viral video, a bystander screaming, "Show me the warrant," while ICE makes an arrest, before you retweet, stop and think. That demand assumes a process that doesn't exist under immigration law. ICE is not using judicial warrants. It uses administrative arrest or removal warrants authorized by statute. The real conversation should be, did ICE follow its own rules? Was the arrest documented properly? Was there real probable cause? And was there oversight? This isn't about being pro-ICE or anti-civil liberties. It's about truth, accountability, and proper law enforcement. If you believe in the rule of law, let's stop elevating ignorance and emotion over clarity. Share this video. Let's raise the standard of public discourse, because yelling warrant doesn't make it lawful, but demanding integrity in enforcement does. If you enjoyed this video, you should definitely check out my other videos, because I have tons of other videos on the same or similar topics. And please like and subscribe. Crime Chef out.